Hi, this is Mike Hibbert. I'm back with another Python tutorial. It's been a while because I've been very ill for a while, um, so I haven't been able to speak, which is annoying. But anyway, I'm back, and here's a little tutorial that we've got all about how to take the code that you've already written and make it available for other programs to reuse. This is basically the concept of modules and packages. Now, modules are basically the files that you've already written used or imported by another script. So for instance, in a previous tutorial we did an example of a database class that we designed, and now I've got this on screen here, and as you remember, or you might remember, we basically set it up so that it would establish our connection to the database from MySQL, and then we'd be able to run some queries. Now, we had some test code set up in this module where we tested the database and we tested it and everything worked fine. Now, if we wanted to use that in a different program or in a different script even, we'd have to look at where that module was placed relative to the script that we want to run it in. Now, in this example, we're going to put it next to the main program. So we've got this main.py, then we've got the MySQL.py file. Now, to import that into another script over in our editor, we'd go import we would go back and we'd say from MySQL import database. And that's basically saying from this module's file, MySQL without the .py on the end, import the database class. Then, if you wanted to run the test program in the other script, just to make sure that it actually does import, we could then cut and paste our test stuff, place it in this window, and there we can test whether this module actually imports that class. So we're going to get our debug IO window open here so we can see what happens. We need to save the file, and there you have it in the database. It's done that query that we did from the last lesson, which was basically select star from test table where age equals 21, and we had 3 records. One was where the age was 39 and the other 2 were 21. So we can see that that's worked there. Now, that's how to import a module, but say we wanted to then take this a step further and we wanted to actually make it so that MySQL wasn't the only kind of database we'd want to connect to. Well, what we could do is we could go and create ourselves a folder. We'll call that databases. Then we'd take our MySQL file and drop it into databases. We'll get rid of this PYC because we don't need that anymore. We're going to bring it under a different setting. Once we've done that, we've actually created this folder system which allows Python to then start and regard folders as if they're containing a package or a number of scripts. Now, there's only one thing else we need to do here, and that's include one single file, which is a specially named file. So if we create ourselves a new document, and the name of the file is underscore init, IEINIT, and then underscore again .py. Now, that needs to go inside the databases folder, just there. So in the root we have main and the databases folder. In the databases folder we have init.py and MySQL. Now, at the very minimum, all we need to do is to create that file. We don't actually have to actually write one line of code in it. So if we open up the init.py file, you can see there's nothing in there. We don't need to put anything in there just to make ourselves a package. We can put like extra rules in there, which maybe is a subtopic for a more complex tutorial, but for the purposes of this we're just going to leave that blank. So going back to our folder system, we've got databases, and within databases we've got mysql.py. Now that's changed how we might import that. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to change the import. And the way that we change it is, instead of saying from MySQL import database, we now go from databases dot MySQL import database. Now say later we wanted to add ourselves a database object that could access something like an SQLite database. Then literally all we do is we put our module that we created from SQLite into here, and it would be something along the lines of something like that, databases.SQLite import database. So now the system knows that to use a database object, which could be defined in multiple places within the databases package for different database types, needs to create it and then put some SQL in it. Now for MySQL, or for the SQLite, then this SQL is not really going to change. It might change for something if you start using Postgre or something like that, but for the purposes of this, just to demonstrate that we can actually import that from that package folder, we're now going to run the program again with that new import statement at the top there. So here we go, save it again, and there you go, it's gone in. There's no errors, no selection of wrong records or bad connections. It's just basically gone in there and found all the ones with the age 21. We could change that just to demonstrate for 39 and save that. One more run. There you go. So it only finds 139. So just to reiterate how that actually gets done, we have our main script, which we've got the import statement in the root of the folder. Then we'll have a subfolder called databases, where we put a blank empty text file called __init__.py. Then we put the module that we've already created with our database class that we've already written from a few tutorials ago. We'll just push that into there, no configuration needed. And then we go to our main file and import it using that one line. And if later we want something like a SQLite database module, we can just drop it in there alongside the MySQL one, and then that can be imported as well. So that's the end of this tutorial. I hope it was informative for you, and if you like this video, please click the like button. If you want to know more about Python in the future and any of the other tutorials I'm going to do, then please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.